In the hustle and bustle of modern life, we're often confronted with situations beyond our control: traffic jams, long work hours, family tensions, and the constant pressure of expectations. Take, for example, the frustration of being stuck in a traffic jam when you're already late for an important meeting. No matter how much you worry or complain, you can't change the situation. The only thing you can control is how you respond. This scenario might seem trivial, but it offers a window into how ancient wisdom like Stoicism can help us navigate the stresses and unpredictabilities of modern living. Stoicism is a philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and Rome, founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BCE. It was further developed by philosophers like Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism teaches that our happiness is not determined by external circumstances, but by our reactions to those circumstances. At its core, Stoicism encourages focusing on what is within our control, while accepting what is not. The essence of Stoic thought lies in the idea that life's challenges are inevitable, but our emotional responses to them are not. For instance, when faced with a difficult boss or a personal setback, Stoics would argue that we cannot control others' actions or the outcome of every situation, but we can control how we think and behave in response. The Stoic approach encourages us to focus on developing virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, all of which shape our reactions to adversity. In Stoicism, virtue is considered the highest good, the ultimate goal of a well-lived life. The Stoics believe that by cultivating virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, we can align ourselves with nature and reason, leading to emotional stability and inner peace. Unlike external factors such as wealth, status, or fame, which can be fleeting and uncontrollable, virtue is an internal quality that remains within our power to develop. For the Stoics, living a virtuous life means living in accordance with reason, understanding what is truly important, and responding to life's challenges in a way that reflects moral integrity. The Stoic view on virtue is rooted in the belief that external circumstances, whether good or bad, do not determine our happiness. Instead, it is our ability to cultivate virtue in the face of adversity that brings peace. For example, no matter what challenges or setbacks we face, if we respond with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline, we remain anchored in our true nature. These virtues serve as the foundation for emotional resilience. When we consistently practice them, we build the inner strength needed to maintain calm and balance, regardless of what is happening around us. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, emphasized the importance of personal growth and the constant pursuit of virtue. In his letters and essays, Seneca often stressed that virtue is not something to be attained once and for all, but a lifelong practice. He believed that self-improvement is an ongoing process, one that requires effort, reflection, and commitment. In Letters from a Stoic, Seneca writes, "We are always the same age in the eyes of the soul," suggesting that no matter where we are in life, we can always continue to grow and develop. The pursuit of virtue is a journey, not a destination. It is a continuous process of becoming better, learning from mistakes, and striving to embody our highest values in every moment. For Seneca, the goal was not perfection, but progress. Virtue, he argued, is something we must actively work toward, day in and day out. The Stoic life is not about being flawless. It's about having the awareness and discipline to choose virtue in all circumstances. This practice involves confronting life's challenges with wisdom, acting with courage when faced with fear, being just in our relationships, and exercising self-control over our impulses and desires. Practical application of Stoic virtues can be seen in everyday life, particularly when we face challenging situations. Consider how the Stoic virtues can guide us through adversity. 1. Courage in adversity. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. When faced with difficult circumstances, whether it's a personal crisis or a challenging situation at work, we can practice courage by confronting our fears and taking action despite them. For example, if you are dealing with a difficult conversation or confrontation, instead of avoiding it, courage allows you to face the situation head-on, knowing that the discomfort you feel is temporary and can lead to growth. Courage also involves taking responsibility for your actions, even when the outcome is uncertain or challenging. 2. Wisdom in decision-making. Wisdom is the ability to make sound judgments based on reason and knowledge, rather than being driven by emotions or external pressures. When making decisions, especially under stress, wisdom involves taking the time to reflect, weigh your options, and consider the long-term consequences of your actions. For instance, in a situation where you feel overwhelmed with multiple tasks at work, wisdom might mean prioritizing the most important tasks and setting aside others until later, rather than attempting to do everything at once and risking burnout. 3. Justice in relationships. Justice is about fairness, treating others with respect, and fulfilling our duties and responsibilities. In our relationships with others, practicing justice means being honest, compassionate, and equitable. If a colleague is struggling at work, for example, justice might mean offering help or support, even if it requires extra effort on your part. In difficult personal situations, justice involves treating others with fairness and integrity, even when it's challenging. This virtue encourages us to act in ways that promote harmony and well-being in our interactions with others. 4th, self-discipline in personal growth. Self-discipline is the ability to control our desires, impulses, and emotions in the pursuit of long-term goals. It involves making choices that align with our values, even when they require sacrifice in the short term. Practicing self-discipline might mean resisting the urge to indulge in immediate pleasures, like unhealthy food or distractions, in favor of pursuing your broader goals, such as improving your health or focusing on a project. It also means being mindful of your habits and ensuring they contribute to your growth, rather than hindering it. As you consider how to practice these virtues in your own life, it's helpful to engage in regular self-reflection. Take time to assess your actions and decisions. Are they aligned with your values? Are you making choices that reflect wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline? Seneca often encouraged his readers to regularly examine their lives, saying, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." This self-reflection allows us to stay on course toward our ultimate goal, living a life of virtue. The pursuit of virtue is not about reaching a point of perfection, but about continuously striving to be better, to grow, and to act with integrity in every moment. By embracing this ongoing process of self-improvement, we can develop emotional stability, resilience, and a deep sense of inner peace. As the Stoics taught, virtue is not something that happens to us. It is something we create through our choices, actions, and mindset every single day. Self-discipline, in the context of Stoicism, is the ability to control one's impulses, desires, and reactions in a way that aligns with reason and virtue. It's about exercising mastery over the self, so that our actions are guided not by fleeting emotions or external temptations, but by a clear and rational understanding of what is truly important. For the Stoics, self-discipline is essential for maintaining emotional balance, as it allows us to navigate life's challenges without being overwhelmed by our passions or external circumstances. When we cultivate self-discipline, we are better able to respond to situations with calmness, clarity, and integrity, rather than reacting impulsively or being driven by immediate desires. In Stoic philosophy, self-discipline is not seen as a form of harsh restriction, but rather as a means of aligning ourselves with our higher goals. When we act with discipline, we are making conscious choices that reflect our values and contribute to our personal growth. For example, a Stoic might practice self-discipline by resisting the temptation to engage in negative behaviors like gossip or overeating, instead focusing on more constructive actions that promote well-being and virtue. Through self-discipline, we train ourselves to respond to life with equanimity, not being swayed by every passing emotion or external event. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, often emphasized the importance of training the mind and body to act in accordance with reason. In his teachings, he argued that while we cannot control the external events in our lives, we do have full control over how we respond to them. This ability to respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively, is at the heart of self-discipline. For Epictetus, developing discipline wasn't about controlling every single aspect of our lives in a rigid, restrictive way, but about consciously choosing to act in a manner that reflects our true nature and purpose. Epictetus likened the process of developing self-discipline to training a muscle. Just as we can build physical strength through consistent exercise, we can build mental and emotional strength through regular practice. Every small act of self-discipline, whether it's resisting the temptation to procrastinate, practicing patience in a stressful situation, or staying true to our values, adds to the overall resilience of our character. Over time, these small actions build up, leading to greater emotional stability and inner peace. Epictetus encouraged his followers to view each moment as an opportunity for practice, stating, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In other words, true freedom comes not from being able to do whatever we want, but from the ability to choose our actions in line with reason and virtue. Practical steps for cultivating self-discipline begin with setting clear, intentional goals and creating routines that support those goals. Setting specific, actionable goals allows us to focus our efforts and measure our progress. For example, if one of your goals is to develop better physical health, a practical step might be to commit to a regular exercise routine, making sure that you set aside specific times each week to work out. The key is to make the goal specific and achievable, rather than setting a vague or unrealistic expectation for yourself. Another important aspect of self-discipline is the ability to create and stick to routines. Routines help us structure our day, ensuring that we stay focused on our priorities rather than getting distracted by unimportant tasks or impulses. By developing daily habits that align with our goals, we create a framework that supports self-discipline. For instance, setting aside time each morning for meditation, journaling, or exercise can help you start your day with a sense of purpose and clarity. By making these actions a regular part of your routine, they become ingrained habits that require less effort to maintain over time. Learning to say no to distractions is another key component of self-discipline. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded by notifications, social media, and other distractions that pull us away from our goals. The ability to say no to external pressures, to distractions, or even to our own impulses is essential for maintaining focus and discipline. This might mean turning off notifications during work hours, saying no to a tempting but unproductive activity, or resisting the urge to indulge in instant gratification. By practicing the art of saying no, we safeguard our time and energy for the things that matter most. However, it's important to remember that consistency is more important than perfection when it comes to developing self-discipline. It's easy to get discouraged if we slip up or fall short of our goals. The Stoics remind us that progress is not about perfection, but about continuous improvement. Epictetus taught that we should not judge ourselves harshly for moments of weakness, but rather use them as opportunities to learn and grow. Each time we make a choice that aligns with our values, we strengthen our ability to choose wisely in the future. Even when we falter, the important thing is to continue practicing and striving toward self-mastery. In conclusion, self-discipline is an essential element of Stoic philosophy, helping us maintain emotional balance and navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. By practicing small acts of discipline every day, we train our minds and bodies to respond to life's challenges with wisdom and composure. Setting clear goals, creating routines, and learning to resist distractions are practical steps that can help us cultivate self-discipline. Through consistent effort, we develop the inner strength necessary to remain steadfast in our values and to live a life of virtue. As the Stoics taught, self-discipline is not just about controlling ourselves, it's about choosing to act in ways that align with our highest purpose and lead to true freedom. In today's world, where we're constantly bombarded by news, social media, and the pressure to perform, Stoicism is more relevant than ever. Our fast-paced, always connected lives leave little room for reflection, and the resulting anxiety can feel overwhelming. Yet, Stoic teachings offer a powerful antidote to this modern dilemma. By practicing mindfulness about what is within our control and releasing attachment to the things we cannot change, we create space for inner peace and resilience. In a time when burnout, stress, and uncertainty are all too common, adopting a Stoic mindset can bring clarity and calm to an otherwise chaotic world. Whether it's dealing with a demanding job, facing unexpected challenges, or simply trying to navigate a world filled with distractions, Stoicism offers practical tools to regain control over our inner state. By applying its principles, we can shift our focus from external events to our own reactions, and in doing so, build a life that is less reactive and more intentional. In a world where many things are beyond our influence, Stoicism reminds us that we have the power to choose how we engage with life's inevitable challenges. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, a concept introduced by the philosopher Epictetus. This principle draws a clear distinction between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. According to Epictetus, much of our suffering stems from mistakenly believing that we can control things that are actually beyond our reach. To achieve peace of mind, we must recognize the difference and focus only on those things we can influence, while accepting that we cannot control everything else. The dichotomy of control is simple but profound. There are things we can control, our actions, thoughts, and reactions. And then there are things we cannot control, such as external events, other people's actions, and outcomes. For example, imagine a difficult conversation with your boss about a project. You can control your thoughts, your tone, and how you respond to criticism. However, you cannot control how your boss will react, the outcome of the conversation, or whether they agree with your perspective. Often people become frustrated because they try to control the uncontrollable, hoping to change someone's mind or force a specific outcome. This, Stoicism teaches, is a surefire way to cultivate stress and disappointment. A helpful way to understand this principle is through a metaphor used by many Stoic philosophers, the archer's metaphor. Imagine you're an archer, aiming at a target. You prepare carefully, focusing on your stance, posture, and aim, but once you release the arrow, you cannot control how it will fly. There are too many variables, wind, the trajectory, the distance, that are out of your hands. The only thing you can control is the quality of your shot. You can only focus on your part in the process, not on the arrow's path or whether it hits the bullseye. This reflects the Stoic approach to life. Do your best, give your full effort, but let go of attachment to the result. This lesson can be particularly transformative in daily life. When we focus too much on external outcomes, such as getting a promotion, gaining approval from others, or achieving a specific result, we set ourselves up for frustration. Not only are these outcomes beyond our control, but they also tend to fluctuate based on factors outside of our influence. If we base our happiness on them, we end up in a cycle of anxiety, striving for something uncertain. Instead, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our actions, thoughts, and responses. This shift in perspective can have a profound impact on how we approach challenges, both big and small. For example, when you face a tough meeting or presentation, rather than obsessing over whether you will impress the audience or secure the outcome you desire, focus instead on preparing as thoroughly as possible, staying calm, and delivering your best performance. By focusing on your actions, how you prepare, present, and respond, you relinquish the need for an outcome that you cannot control, allowing for a more relaxed and effective approach. To apply the dichotomy of control in your own life, start by identifying what you can and cannot control in different situations. This could be as simple as realizing that while you can't control the weather, you can control how you dress and how you spend your day despite it. Or, in the workplace, you may not be able to control your boss's decisions or the company's future, but you can control how you manage your work, your attitude, and your efforts. A useful practice is to reflect on your daily challenges and, for each one, ask yourself, what can I control here? This will help you shift your mindset from frustration to action, focusing on where your efforts can actually make a difference. In addition, mindfulness can be a helpful tool to maintain this awareness. By staying present and centered, you are less likely to become overwhelmed by worries about outcomes that you cannot influence. Practice letting go of your attachment to specific results, trusting that your best effort is enough. Furthermore, cultivate self-discipline in your approach to situations. Recognize that your worth is not tied to external validation or outcomes, but to your ability to act with integrity, wisdom, and virtue in any circumstance. Rather than obsessing over external success, focus on developing a mindset where you can take pride in the effort you put forth, regardless of the results. The dichotomy of control invites us to let go of what we cannot change, empowering us to take control of how we respond to life's challenges. By embracing this concept, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of worry and frustration, shifting our energy towards actions that bring peace, purpose, and personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, is often celebrated for his writings and meditations, which offer a deep reflection on life's challenges and the human condition. In his journals, he frequently emphasizes the importance of accepting the inevitable difficulties that life throws our way. For Aurelius, the unpredictability of life was not something to resist, but something to embrace. He understood that suffering arises when we resist the natural flow of events, especially those beyond our control. By accepting life's challenges as a natural part of existence, we can free ourselves from unnecessary distress. Aurelius often contemplated how life presents us with circumstances we cannot control, whether it's the behavior of others, the actions of fate, or the inevitable obstacles we encounter. He believed that resistance to these challenges only leads to frustration and suffering. In one of his writings, he states, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful insight teaches us that our mental state is the only domain where we have true control. External events may be out of our hands, but how we react to them is entirely up to us. Resistance to the way life unfolds only causes us more pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, brings peace and freedom. To understand this concept more deeply, let's consider the metaphor of a ship battling against a current. Imagine you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean, trying to steer it against the current. No matter how hard you try, the force of the water will overpower your efforts. If you resist the current, you'll tire yourself out without making any headway. The more you fight against the natural flow of the water, the more frustrated and exhausted you become. Now, imagine instead that you accept the current. Align your ship with the flow, and navigate with it. While you might not always be able to choose your direction, by aligning with the current, you move more efficiently, with less resistance and effort. This metaphor illustrates the futility of resisting what we cannot control. Life, like the current, will often present us with situations we cannot change: delays, failures, external opinions, or even tragedies. Acceptance isn't about passivity or surrendering to life's challenges without effort. Rather, it's about aligning with the natural flow of events and responding wisely. Acceptance means acknowledging that some things are outside our control, and instead of fighting them, we choose to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our reactions, and our behavior. Cultivating acceptance is an essential practice for daily life. In a world full of unexpected twists, delays, and obstacles, developing acceptance can be transformative. Take, for instance, the everyday frustration of being delayed by a late flight or sitting in traffic. The natural impulse is to resist and complain, wishing the situation were different. But such resistance only adds to our discomfort. Instead, practicing acceptance means recognizing that the delay is outside our control and choosing to manage our thoughts and reactions. We might find a way to relax, read a book, or listen to music rather than fuming about the inconvenience. Through this practice, we move from frustration to peace. Similarly, when we face failure, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal goals, acceptance becomes crucial. Instead of resisting failure by wallowing in regret or self-blame, we can choose to view it as an opportunity for growth. By accepting failure, we stop fighting against it and allow ourselves to learn from the experience. As Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By accepting obstacles as part of our journey, we transform them into opportunities for self-improvement. External opinions and judgments are another area where acceptance plays a critical role. In a world where we're often concerned about how others perceive us, Stoicism teaches us to let go of the need for validation. It's natural to want approval or recognition, but when we base our happiness on others' opinions, we place our peace of mind in something outside of our control. Acceptance in this context means understanding that we cannot control what others think or say about us. Instead of resisting or trying to change these opinions, we choose to accept them and focus on our own values and actions. This mindset brings freedom from the constant need for external validation and helps us cultivate internal peace. The goal of cultivating acceptance is not to resign ourselves to passivity, but to find peace in the knowledge that we can control our response to circumstances, even if we can't control the circumstances themselves. By practicing acceptance, we let go of unnecessary suffering and focus on the areas where we can truly make a difference: our thoughts, our choices, and our actions. This doesn't mean we stop striving or working toward improvement. It simply means that we let go of the frustration that comes from resisting what is beyond our control. In the end, Marcus Aurelius's teachings offer a powerful reminder that life will always present us with challenges, but it is how we respond to them that determines our peace. By practicing acceptance, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, and in doing so, we find strength, clarity, and calm amidst life's inevitable turbulence. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome, often spoke about the importance of focusing on the present moment as a means of achieving emotional balance and clarity. In his letters and essays, Seneca emphasized that our minds often drift away from the present, either lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. This constant distraction, he argued, prevents us from truly living and experiencing the peace that comes from being fully engaged in the present. For Seneca, mindfulness, the practice of being present in the moment, is an essential tool for cultivating a calm and virtuous life. The Stoic perspective on mindfulness goes beyond simple awareness. It is about training the mind to focus on what is within our control while letting go of unnecessary distractions. According to Stoicism, our peace of mind is disturbed when we allow ourselves to be consumed by thoughts about things we cannot control. For example, we may dwell on past mistakes, worry about future events, or fret over things beyond our immediate reach. Seneca believed that by learning to stay mindful and focused on the present, we could regain control over our emotional state and experience life with more clarity and purpose. As he wrote in Letters from a Stoic, We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This illustrates the power of the mind to create suffering when we focus on things that are not happening right now. Mindfulness, in this sense, is the opposite of rumination, an unhealthy habit of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Rumination is when our thoughts are trapped in a cycle of regret, self-blame, or fear of what might happen next. This mental loop often leads to anxiety and prevents us from taking constructive action in the present. By contrast, mindfulness encourages us to break free from this cycle by staying focused on the moment at hand. When we ruminate, we get stuck in a mental feedback loop that amplifies our distress. When we practice mindfulness, we disrupt this cycle, creating space for peace and clarity. Rumination can be particularly damaging because it often takes us away from what is happening right now. For example, if you're at work but continually think about a mistake you made in a past meeting, you are not fully present in your current work tasks. Similarly, worrying about future challenges, such as an upcoming presentation, can prevent you from focusing on what you need to do today to prepare. The more we dwell on what's already past or what's yet to come, the more we drain our energy and become disconnected from the present. On the other hand, mindfulness allows us to release these distractions and embrace the clarity that comes from being present in the moment. By focusing on what is in front of us, we can make more thoughtful decisions and respond with greater calm and resilience. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require drastic changes to your life. It's about cultivating small, intentional moments throughout the day. Here are some practical techniques to integrate mindfulness into your routine. 1. Mindful breathing. One of the simplest yet most powerful techniques is mindful breathing. Take a few moments throughout the day to focus solely on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. As you breathe, direct your attention fully to the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. This practice helps ground you in the present moment and can quickly reduce stress and anxiety. 2. Single tasking. In our modern world, multitasking is often celebrated, but it's a major barrier to mindfulness. To practice mindfulness, try focusing on one task at a time. Whether you're answering emails, eating lunch, or having a conversation, give your full attention to the activity at hand. This can improve the quality of your work and increase your sense of satisfaction and engagement. 3. Appreciate the present moment. One of the simplest forms of mindfulness is taking a moment to simply appreciate what's around you. Whether you're walking to the bus stop, sitting at your desk, or enjoying a meal, take a few seconds to notice the sights, sounds, and sensations you're experiencing. Pay attention to the details, the colors, textures, or even the temperature. This practice helps bring you into the present and fosters a greater sense of gratitude and awareness. 4th, body scan. A simple technique to cultivate mindfulness is the body scan. Start by sitting or lying down in a quiet space and slowly bring your attention to each part of your body, starting from your toes and working your way up to your head. Notice any sensations, tightness, or discomfort without judgment. This practice helps you connect with your body and become more aware of physical tension or stress, which can often mirror mental or emotional unrest. 5. Mindful listening. In conversations, practice listening fully to the other person without interrupting or thinking about your response while they're speaking. Instead of planning what you'll say next, focus entirely on what they're saying and how they're saying it. This helps you connect more deeply with others and improves communication. Start small and gradually build these moments of mindfulness into your daily life. The key is consistency. Over time, even short periods of mindfulness can have a profound impact on your mental clarity and emotional well-being. Incorporating mindfulness into your life, as Seneca suggested, helps you regain control over your mind and focus on what truly matters: the present. Instead of being swept away by past regrets or future anxieties, you can cultivate peace by staying grounded in the here and now. By practicing mindfulness, you'll find that life becomes more manageable, less overwhelming, and more fulfilling, one present moment at a time. In Stoic philosophy, perception plays a central role in how we experience the world and respond to life's events. The Stoics believe that our emotions and reactions are not directly caused by external events themselves, but rather by the way we perceive and interpret those events. This concept, often referred to as the Stoic view of perception, emphasizes that our inner world, our thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes, shapes how we experience the external world. As Epictetus famously stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This fundamental idea suggests that we have the power to control our emotions by changing the way we perceive and interpret what happens around us. The Stoics argued that while we cannot control external events, whether they are positive or negative, we can control our interpretations of those events. For example, if we receive criticism at work, the event itself, the criticism, is neutral. However, how we perceive it determines our emotional reaction. We might view the criticism as an attack on our character, leading to feelings of frustration, defensiveness, or anger. Alternatively, we could perceive it as constructive feedback, an opportunity for growth, and feel grateful for the chance to improve. In this way, the Stoic teaches us that our emotions are not dictated by the events themselves, but by how we interpret those events. Changing our perspective, therefore, becomes a powerful tool for emotional regulation and personal growth. By shifting the way we view challenging situations, we can reduce the emotional turmoil that often arises in response to external circumstances. For instance, imagine losing a job. On the surface, this is a negative event that might trigger feelings of anxiety, fear, or sadness. However, from a Stoic perspective, we could reframe this situation by seeing it as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Losing a job could lead to new career opportunities, provide a chance to reevaluate personal goals, or open up the possibility of pursuing a long-held passion. By changing our perspective, we take control of the emotional narrative, reducing stress, and finding peace amidst adversity. This ability to reframe negative thoughts and events is a core practice in Stoic philosophy. Stoics understood that it's not life's events that disturb us, but our judgments and interpretations of those events. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This mindset shift enables us to detach from automatic emotional responses and instead choose more reasoned, constructive reactions. Practical reframing techniques can help us actively change the way we perceive situations. Here are several methods to incorporate this practice into daily life. 1. Using positive affirmations. One effective method of reframing is to use positive affirmations to shift our mindset. For instance, if we face a setback, instead of thinking, "I failed," we could reframe the thought with, "This is a learning opportunity, and I am capable of improving." By consistently repeating such affirmations, we reinforce a positive, growth-oriented mindset that allows us to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. Questioning assumptions. Many times, we automatically assume the worst about situations, especially when we are stressed or anxious. In these moments, it's important to pause and question our assumptions. For example, if a colleague gives you a curt response in an email, instead of assuming they are angry with you, consider alternative explanations. Perhaps they are busy or dealing with their own stress. Questioning assumptions helps us avoid jumping to conclusions and allows us to see situations with a clearer, less emotionally charged perspective. 3. Focus on what you can control. Another key Stoic practice is focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. When faced with a difficult situation, such as an argument with a friend, remind yourself that you cannot control the other person's behavior, but you can control your own reactions. Shifting your focus away from the external event and onto your own response helps to cultivate a sense of calm and agency, rather than feeling helpless or overwhelmed by circumstances. 4. Reframe failure as growth. A common Stoic reframe involves seeing failure as an opportunity for growth. Rather than viewing a failure as a personal defeat, try to reframe it as a lesson. For example, if you don't get a promotion at work, instead of feeling rejected, ask yourself, "What can I learn from this experience? How can I improve for the next opportunity?" This shift in perspective allows us to embrace failure as a necessary part of the learning process, rather than something to fear or avoid. 5. Mindfulness of the present moment. Often negative emotions arise when we worry about the future or dwell on the past. A Stoic approach encourages us to focus on the present moment, letting go of unproductive thoughts about what has already happened or what may happen. By staying grounded in the here and now, we can reduce anxiety and maintain a clear, focused perspective. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by future responsibilities, take a moment to breathe and center yourself, focusing on what you can do right now to move forward. 6th, gratitude practice. A simple yet powerful reframing technique is practicing gratitude. When facing challenges, take a moment to reflect on what you are grateful for, even in difficult circumstances. This could be as simple as appreciating the support of loved ones, or the chance to learn something new from a hardship. Gratitude shifts our attention from what is wrong to what is right, fostering a positive perspective even in the face of adversity. These reframing techniques require consistent practice, as our habitual thought patterns can often steer us toward negative interpretations. However, by consciously choosing to reframe our thoughts and see situations from a Stoic perspective, we can cultivate a greater sense of inner peace and emotional resilience. The more we practice this skill, the more automatic it becomes, allowing us to handle life's challenges with greater calm and clarity. Ultimately, Stoic philosophy teaches us that our perception of the world shapes our experience of it. By changing the way we interpret events, we gain mastery over our emotional responses, enabling us to navigate life with greater wisdom, serenity, and strength. Through reframing, we can transform challenges into opportunities for growth and maintain a sense of peace no matter what life throws our way. Adversity is often viewed as something to avoid or overcome at all costs, but in Stoic philosophy, it is embraced as an essential part of life and a powerful tool for personal growth. The Stoics believe that hardship and challenges are not to be feared, but rather seen as opportunities to strengthen our character and improve our ability to navigate life with wisdom and resilience. This perspective is encapsulated by the words of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very obstacles we encounter can become the means through which we grow and improve. The Stoic attitude toward adversity teaches us that life's difficulties are not random or inherently negative. Instead, they are a natural part of the human experience, and when approached with the right mindset, can be transformative. Great Stoic philosophers, including Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, all faced immense personal and political challenges. Yet they saw these difficulties not as burdens, but as opportunities to develop resilience, courage, and self-discipline. For Marcus Aurelius, the hardships of ruling the Roman Empire, including wars, personal loss, and political intrigue, were seen as tests to build his virtue and wisdom. He recognized that these challenges could either break him or shape him into a better leader and human being, and he chose the latter. The core idea behind the Stoic belief that adversity is an opportunity is encapsulated in the concept of "the obstacle is the way." This phrase, popularized by modern Stoic thinkers like Ryan Holiday, suggests that obstacles in our path are not simply things to be overcome or avoided. They are the very things that can propel us toward growth and success. In Stoic philosophy, every challenge we face is an opportunity to practice virtue. For example, facing failure offers a lesson in resilience and the importance of maintaining composure despite setbacks. A difficult situation can teach us patience, self-control, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. Each challenge, no matter how difficult, offers an opportunity to refine our character and grow stronger. Consider a common example. A person who is laid off from their job might initially feel devastated and anxious about their future. From a Stoic perspective, however, this loss could be viewed as an opportunity to reassess one's career goals, develop new skills, or pursue a more meaningful path. While it may be painful at first, the experience can become a catalyst for positive change and personal development. Instead of focusing on the fear and uncertainty of the situation, the Stoic approach encourages us to look for the lessons and growth potential in adversity. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This mindset shift is crucial when navigating tough times. In the face of adversity, we can ask ourselves, what is this challenge teaching me? What can I learn from it? What strength can I develop through overcoming it? By reframing adversity as an opportunity, we can approach difficulties with a sense of purpose and intention, rather than as burdens or injustices. Practical steps for embracing adversity as an opportunity include reframing the situation by focusing on what you can control. For example, if you're facing a difficult relationship issue, instead of becoming consumed by anger or frustration, ask yourself how you can respond with patience, understanding, and kindness. In times of failure, rather than dwelling on what went wrong, focus on what you can learn from the experience. This shift in perspective allows us to take an active role in our own growth and ensures that we don't waste the lessons adversity offers. Another useful technique is to remind yourself that hardship is often temporary. Most difficult situations, whether they are personal, professional, or societal, are not permanent. Stoics recognize that life is full of highs and lows. and that the nature of adversity is cyclical. When faced with a challenge, remind yourself that this too shall pass, and in the meantime, focus on what you can learn and how you can emerge stronger. Finally, remember that adversity often brings with it an opportunity for greater self-awareness. Through hardship, we are forced to confront our limitations, our fears, and our weaknesses. In doing so, we have the chance to grow in ways we would not have otherwise. Every difficult moment provides a mirror to our inner self, revealing areas where we can improve and where our virtues can shine through. Living a Stoic life is not about eliminating challenges or avoiding pain, but about learning to respond to life's inevitable ups and downs with wisdom, calm, and integrity. The Stoics teach us that the path to inner peace is not through the absence of hardship, but through the mastery of our reactions to those hardships. By focusing on what we can control, accepting life's challenges, cultivating mindfulness and virtue, practicing self-discipline, and embracing adversity as an opportunity, we can navigate life with greater resilience and emotional mastery. To live a Stoic life, begin by applying these principles to your daily experiences. Reflect on the obstacles you face and ask how they can serve as stepping stones for growth. With consistent practice, you will find that the challenges that once seemed overwhelming can become sources of strength and wisdom. The Stoic path is not a quick fix or an easy answer, but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and personal development. Embrace adversity, for it is the crucible in which your true character is forged.